Welcome to today's SeafoodNews.com video, sponsored by the Alaska Seafood Marketing Institute.
Good morning. We have a major story today on an extensive survey that NOAA has done of Bering Sea Corals in the Bering Sea Canyons. This survey, which took over a month to do, has recorded over 225,000 images of corals and coral habitat throughout the entire range where corals can be expected to be found in the Bering Sea. This is significant because Greenpeace and Sustainable Fisheries Partnership have organized a campaign around the Bering Sea Canyons and the idea that there's special coral habitat within these canyons that must be protected. And they considered it to be such an emergency that they went out in communications to seafood buyers telling them that unless the council acted immediately on the issues that Greenpeace brought forward, they should stop buying pollock from this area. This has become actually quite a bone of discussion among various buyers who, being thousands of miles from the Bering Sea, are quite naturally confused about what's going on. This is why this NOAA study is so important. If you compare the amount of effort that the council and the chief scientists who studied corals have put in, it's very clear that there is a real effort to understand what's happening with the Bering Sea corals, to understand where the habitat is most favorable to them and where they may or may not need protections. But what the scientists also found is that Greenpeace has vastly overestimated the results they got from two small-scale dives in the Bering Sea on which they've based a gigantic publicity campaign. The fact is, Greenpeace did not do a scientific survey. They sent down a submersible and snapped a few pictures of coral. What NOAA has done is said, okay, well, if we're going to consider this, let's figure out where the coral habitat really is. And that's what's important about this story. In fact, the first major protections of coral in the Aleutian Islands took place well before Greenpeace even came on the scene about this issue. There is a special protected habitat area in the Aleutians where there's a very high density coral garden. The point of all this is that we have a very robust science-based fisheries management system. And when Greenpeace and buyers and other people participate in the system, for example, by saying, let's study this together, let's look at this issue, let's move this forward, things tend to work very well. But when they stand outside the system and say, hey, look, you better do this protection right away, regardless of whether your science backs it or not, or we're going to stop buying pollock, that's just grandstanding. And that's why we're so happy to present some of the initial facts about this study, because we don't need grandstanding if we're going to talk about sustainability. What we need is money, resources, legislation, a management system, and dedicated people to run this system. And that's what we have in the North Pacific, and that's what some of these other organizations are trying to denigrate for their own ends and their own fundraising. In Lexington, Mass., this is John Sackton.
Today's SeafoodNews.com video was brought to you by the Alaska Seafood Marketing Institute. Alaska has been protecting wild and sustainable seafood for generations and adheres to the most recognized and internationally accepted set of guidelines written by the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. For recipes and additional information, visit wildalaskaflavor.com.